Yu Hao is a 19-year-old high school student in California, USA. He is about to graduate and is full of longing for the future. Because his grandmother was ill, his mother returned to China and entrusted him to the temporary care of 30-year-old fitness blogger Aunt Li Wei. One night, Liu Hao accidentally saw Aunt Li soothing herself with a massage stick. Liu Hao's heartbeat accelerated instantly. He was shocked and confused, and didn't know how to face everything in front of him. The story between Liu Hao and Li Wei, classmate Xiao Kai, and senior sister Li Yan changed his fate of studying in the United States. Liu Hao is 19 years old this year. He is a male student and is now in the third year of high school in a high school in California, USA. It was his mother who accompanied Liu Hao to study abroad, but because his grandmother was ill these days, his mother returned to China temporarily, so his mother asked his friend Aunt Li to take care of him. Aunt Li's full name is Li Wei. She is a female fitness blogger. She is only 30 years old this year. Aunt Li not only has a very hot body, but also has a very delicate face, which has attracted a large number of male fans. He and Liu Hao's mother met when they were working out. Since she called Liu Hao's mother Zhao Ji, Liu Hao called her Aunt Li. Logically, Liu Hao should call her sister. What Liu Hao didn't expect was that Aunt Li couldn't stand the loneliness after only being in the United States for a few days. This made him, who was in adolescence, feel more curious and yearning. The next morning in a daze, it was Aunt Li who woke him up. Xiao was ready to go to school. At this time, Li Wei was wearing Yobasina sports vest with a perfect figure. Li Wei saw that she opened her eyes, smiled lightly, and told him to wash up quickly because he was going to be late. When she went out, she glanced at Liu Hao, then smiled mischievously and left. This look immediately made Liu Hao blush, and he had already propped up a cloak. After washing up, he came out for breakfast. Li Wei specially prepared a hearty breakfast for Liu Hao, and she was actually wearing yoga pants and practicing dumbbells next to her. I wonder if Li Wei did it on purpose? Every time she bent down, her cleavage caught Liu Hao's eyes, making him embarrassed and excited. When he saw that he had almost finished eating, Li Wei suddenly came over with a smile. "Xiao Hao, did you get up last night?" Li Wei asked this question on purpose, and he immediately pretended to know nothing and denied it. But from Li Wei's ambiguous eyes, she probably knew that Liu Hao secretly got up last night and discovered her indecent gaze. Maybe there was a mouse in the living room last night. Li Wei smiled wickedly, muttered something, and then turned and walked into his bedroom. His words made Liu Hao very embarrassed. He couldn't admit that he had secretly watched him do bad things. When he finished breakfast, Li Wei had changed into a black short skirt suit and walked out, and the whole person looked more charming. Li Wei drove Liu Hao to school, and as soon as he entered the campus, he met Xiao Kai, who came to study with him from China. "Is it your sister who Liu Hao just sent you here? You look really good. How about introducing her to me as a girlfriend? Get lost." Liu Hao glared at him unhappily and walked towards the campus. Xiao Kai was different from Liu Hao. He was forced to come here to study because he got another girl pregnant when he was in high school in China and was expelled from school. Xiao Kai's family was rich, but he liked to mess around. He had only been here for 2 or 3 months, and I heard that he had several girlfriends and had an affair with a female teacher from an off-campus tutoring institution. Liu Hao came here to study and to go to a prestigious university here. During the break at noon, Xiao Kai kept telling Liu Hao that he went to a massage parlor in the Chinese district last night. There weren't any foreign women there, and the point was that they were very open. Hearing Xiao Kai talking to him with a smile, Liu Hao immediately got angry and scolded him, saying that he should focus on his studies and stop doing these messy things all day, otherwise he would have nothing to study. But Xiao Kai didn't think so. He thought that if he had no more books to study, he could just go back to his father's company and get a job, and he wouldn't have to worry about food and drink. I don't know why, after scolding Xiao Kai. Thinking of the scene, he just said, Liu Hao couldn't help but flash back to the scene of Li Wei last night in his mind. He couldn't help but blush, and his heart beat, and his body also reacted. When school was about to end, I suddenly came over with a smile and asked Liu Hao if he wanted to watch a movie. After that, he directly sent him a link on WeChat and asked Liu Hao to click it. Unexpectedly, this was a prank. Liu Hao clicked it and found that it was a Trojan program. The phone suddenly emitted a loud sound between men and women. Although there was no picture, it couldn't be turned off. In an instant, Liu Hao blushed and was extremely embarrassed. The whole classroom was filled with laughter. Finally, he forced his phone to shut down to solve the problem. After the female teacher in the class heard it, she just smiled mischievously and reminded Liu how to be careful in the future. This scene really embarrassed him to the extreme. When school was over, Liu Hao originally thought that Li Wei would drive to pick him up, but Li Wei sent him a WeChat message saying that he was shopping in the supermarket and there was no time to pick him up, so he asked him to take a taxi home first. After Liu Hao took a taxi home, Li Wei was not at home. He put down his school bag and went to the bathroom. He unexpectedly saw Li Wei's underwear, which she had changed at some point, placed on the dirty clothes rack next to her. What Liu Hao did not expect was that the electric stick he used last night was actually placed on the shelf next to him. This made his heart beat faster again. As if by some unknown reason, Liu Hao picked up his underwear. Suddenly the bathroom door was pushed open. He had just come in and did not lock it. "Xiao Hao, what are you doing?" Li Wei came back at some point. When she opened the bathroom door, she saw Liu Hao holding his black underwear. Liu Hao's cheeks flushed, and he said very embarrassed, "Aunt Li, I saw some unwashed dirty clothes in here, and I'm going to wash them together. Thank you for helping me wash my clothes. I'll go make dinner first." Li Wei smiled warmly, but still walked in unsaid with a smile. "You can just help me wash these clothes. You don't know how to wash these to underwear, so I'll do it myself." Li smiled and took his clothes away. At the same time, he seemed to remember the electric stick on the shelf and took it away secretly by hiding it in his clothes. Liu Hao started to help Li Wei wash clothes because he was a glutton. He washed his skirt and coat. When Li Wei prepared dinner and called him to eat, he wore a small vest and sat opposite Liu Hao, smiling and talking. "Little Li Yi, I bought the oysters you like today. How do you taste?" Before Liu Hao finished speaking, Li Wei handed a specially roasted garlic oyster to his bowl and said that he should eat more good food now that he is taller. Li Wei's words made Liu Hao feel strange, and Li Wei's eyes were also unpredictable. He seemed to be hinting at something, but he didn't seem to say anything. Just after finishing dinner and preparing to do homework, someone suddenly rang the doorbell. Liu Hao was curious about who rang the doorbell. Just as he walked out of the study, he found that Li Wei had opened the door. Xiao Kai walked in with a backpack on his back and smiled. "Hello, sister." After Xiao Kai came in, he bowed to Li Wei very respectfully, and then walked towards Liu Hao with a smile. "Liu Hao, I forgot to bring my textbook back, and I wanted to come and see you." After Xiao Kai entered Liu Hao's study, Liu Hao angrily scolded him. Because Liu Hao knew his little thoughts, he asked Li Wei's WeChat at school, but he didn't give it to him. Now he actually found a way to come to his house to get close to him, and because of today's prank, Liu Hao also scolded him. But this kid knew what was interesting and brought delicious food to Liu Hao and also gave Liu Hao a very expensive figurine. Li Wei saw that Liu Hao was coming, and she specially prepared fruits for them and invited Xiao Kai to come over to eat. Xiao Kai is really good at picking up girls. While eating fruit, he actually asked for Li Wei's contact information. In this way, Xiao Kai stayed at their house for almost an hour before leaving Li Wei. Xiao Kai is a man with a sharp tongue, and he likes to mess around with men and women. You must ignore him. "Xiao, how do you think etiquette as an 18-year-old girl? So easy to be deceived?" Li Wei heard Liu Hao admonishing him like this, and he actually laughed happily. After Xiao Kai left, Li Wei changed into yoga pants and a short vest and started exercising in the house again. Liu Hao finished his homework and prepared to go to bed. After entering the room, the scene of Li Wei in the bathroom last night suddenly rang in his mind again. Liu Hao just lay there, not falling asleep, quietly listening to the movement outside, wanting to see if Li Wei would comfort himself like this tonight. But tonight Li Wei finished his exercise, took a hot bath, and went to bed directly. It seems that he is really tired today. When he woke up the next morning, Liu Hao found that his underwear was dirty and he hurried to the bathroom to change a pair of underwear in embarrassment. As a result, before he changed, Li Wei knocked on the door and urged him to eat breakfast quickly, otherwise he would be late for school. Who knew that when he was eating breakfast, Li Wei went in, and then when Li Wei came out, he looked at him and smiled mischievously. It seems that our Xiao Hao has really grown up. This look and this smile immediately made Liu Hao embarrassed. It seemed that Li Wei had seen the dirty underwear, and she probably thought that Liu Hao had secretly done something bad. After arriving at school, the whole day was normal, but Li Wei's smirk would occasionally come to her mind. As a result, when school was about to end in the afternoon, Xiao Kai actually told the teacher that his tablet was missing. Seeing this, the teacher actually asked several class leaders to search the desks, and everyone started to stand in the back row of the classroom. Then several class leaders began to search the desks. After searching a few, they didn't find anything. As a result, they searched Liu Hao's desk, which confused him all of a sudden, because they actually found 2 sets of underwear from Liu Hao's desk, and they were women's sexy underwear with mesh hollows. Instantly, all the students laughed together, and the female teacher couldn't help laughing after seeing it, but her face still showed a serious look. At this time, Xiaokai suddenly said, "Sorry, teacher, I found my tablet. It turned out that I put it in the interlaver of my school bag. Since the tablet has been found, there is no need to continue searching the desk." But Liu Hao became a joke in the class. Because of this, the female teacher said she would call Liu Hao's parents to come to the school. There was no other way, so Liu Hao had to call Li Wei to come to the school. After Li Wei came, she was very nervous at first, thinking that she had caused a big disaster. Then the female teacher told Li Wei what happened yesterday and today. Seeing the sexy underwear placed on the table by the female teacher, Li smiled and said, "Teacher, I'm sorry, these 2 sets of underwear are mine. I accidentally put them in the wrong place this morning." At first, the teacher thought that Liu Hao had stolen the women's underwear from somewhere. After hearing what Li Wei said, the female teacher stopped talking. In the end, she told Li Wei to guide Liu Hao, who was in adolescence and worried that she would make mistakes. In the end, Liu Hao made a promise in front of the teacher, and the teacher stopped talking. After all, I deliberately messed with him yesterday, and today Li Wei took the initiative to help him take the blame. Along the way, Liu Hao kept explaining to Li Wei that he didn't steal the underwear, nor did he put it on the desk. He was not that kind of person. Li smiled and comforted her, telling her not to think too much and that he would not tell his mother. But after dinner, Li Wei finished yoga, changed into a set of pajamas, and walked directly into Liu Hao's study room, smiling and saying, "Xiao Hao etiquette, those 2 pieces of underwear really weren't taken to school secretly by you. I saw your underwear this morning." When Li Wei said this, Liu Hao's cheeks flushed immediately, and he wanted to explain but didn't know how to start. Li Wei saw her shy look and smiled and said, "It's okay, Xiao Hao. I have promised your mother to find someone to take care of you for her. I know that adolescent boys have needs, and etiquette will satisfy your desires tonight." After Li Wei finished speaking, he came over, grabbed his hand, and put it into his pajamas. The dry firewood and the raging fire broke out completely at this moment. Under Li Wei's guidance, Liu Hao completely became a real man. When Liu Hao got up the next day, he saw clothes flying everywhere on the floor of the bedroom. When he hurriedly put on his clothes and came out to wash, Li Wei had already carefully prepared breakfast for him. The breakfast was very rich. Not only did he prepare soy milk and fried dough sticks, but also boiled eggs. In addition, Li Wei also prepared prawns for him, saying that he needed to replenish his body. When leaving, Li smiled and said that she would prepare turtle soup for him when she came back in the evening, saying that it was very nutritious. When Liu Hao heard these words, he could only thank Li Wei over and over again, but at the same time he was a little nervous. If his mother knew what happened last night, he would be really finished. Because Liu Hao has been afraid of his mother since he was a child, and he is even more afraid of his scolding. If she knew about him and Li Wei, she would definitely be furious. He was always worried that Li Wei seemed to have seen through his thought. After arriving at the school gate, Li smiled and said, "Don't worry, Xiao Hao, your mother won't know about our affairs. This is between us." After Li smiled and said, she made a heart gesture to him. After arriving at school, some male classmates were still making fun of her because of what happened yesterday, but fortunately everyone was very open-minded, and some male classmates even smiled and wanted to introduce him to beautiful women. Liu Hao knew that Xiaokai must have done that yesterday afternoon on purpose, because he went to Liu Hao's house the night before yesterday in the name of borrowing textbooks, and talked to Li Wei for a long time and asked for his contact information. It was probably Zhao Kai who secretly found an opportunity to steal Li Wei's underwear from the balcony. Zhao Kai, why did you deliberately make fun of me yesterday afternoon? Now the whole class is laughing at me, right? Liu Hao, who was very angry, grabbed his collar in front of all the classmates and questioned angrily. Zhao Kai saw that Liu Hao was indeed angry and hurriedly smiled awkwardly, and then told Liu Hao that he had a big secret and told him to let go first. Seeing that the boy was sincere, Liu Hao let go directly. When he got outside the classroom, Xiao Kai looked around and saw that there was no one around. Then he came up to him and whispered, Liu Hao, this matter was indeed my fault, and the joke was a bit too big. I want to tell you a secret. Li Yan, the senior sister you had a crush on in high school, has also come to the United States. Hearing this, Liu Hao was obviously stunned for a moment. At this time, his right hand had already loosened Xiao Kai's collar because Li Yan was 2 years older than him. When Liu Hao was in the first year of high school, he was in the third year of high school. She was the most beautiful senior sister Liu Hao had ever seen. She could be said to be the goddess in his heart. Moreover, he really confessed to her at that time but was rejected by Li Yan fiercely. However, he did not expect that after 2 years, senior sister Li Yan would also come to the United States. Liu Hao thought, is this a chance for me to pursue him? He was very excited and expectant, but Xiao Kai's next sentence completely stunned him. He is now in the massage parlor in the Chinese district I told you about. What is he doing there? Do you still need to ask this? Looking at Xiao Kai's determined eyes, Liu Hao was stunned, completely stunned. He did not expect that the senior sister goddess who had been secretly in love with him for so long had obviously fallen to this point, and this point was actually working in a massage parlor. Seeing Liu Hao's confused look and standing there for a long time, Xiao Kai came over again and whispered in his ear, Liu Hao, do you want me to help you make an appointment with him in advance? Because the massage parlor needs to be booked in advance, otherwise you can't see him. Don't worry, I will pay for the massage. Xiao Kai looked at Liu Hao, worried that he didn't have money to go out and spend, so he patted his shoulder. Liu Hao's mother had always been very strict with him before, so if he wanted to go out for a massage, he probably couldn't afford the massage fee. Okay, you make an appointment for me. I'll go to see Li Yan tonight. Hearing what Xiao Kai said, Liu Hao's heart trembled and his eyes suddenly became red. I didn't expect Xiao Kai to look so happy at ordinary times, but he could understand him so well at the critical moment. Don't worry. Xiao Kai patted his shoulder again, then took out his mobile phone and walked into the classroom. At this time, Liu Hao's eyes stayed on the playground, thinking of his former goddess actually coming here being a masseuse in the United States. I felt really uncomfortable. After school, in the afternoon, Li Yi specially prepared turtle soup for Liu Hao and also prepared braised pereres and braised prawns. These were all dishes that Liu Hao liked to eat, and the point was that these dishes were very nourishing. But Li Yi saw that Liu Hao was a little absent-minded, thinking that he was too tired last night. He smiled and asked with concern, what's wrong with Xiao Hao? Are you feeling uncomfortable? Liu Hao was thinking about his senior sister Li Yan at this time, thinking that the goddess he once secretly loved was now giving massages to people in the United States. He felt extremely uncomfortable and could not accept it at all. Etiquette after dinner, I want to go to the bookstore in the Chinese district with Xiao Kai to buy some books and go shopping. Anyway, you don't have to go to school tomorrow Saturday, so your money should not be enough. I'll go get you some money. Etiquette heard Liu Hao say this and stood up with a smile. Then he specially brought him $1,000. He was stunned for a moment. $8,000 is not a small amount. Usually when his mother's around, she would only give him $100 at most. 2 flowers? Your mother transferred 10,000 yuan to me 2 days ago, saying that your grandmother's condition is now stable, and she may come back in a few more days. She also told me to take care of you. You must study hard. Aunt Lee smiled and patted him, letting him lean gently on her. After dinner, Lee washed the dishes, changed into yoga pants and a fitness vest, and started live streaming while exercising. He said that he hadn't live streamed for a long time since he came to the United States. Otherwise, all his fans would disappear. After Liu Hao left, Xiao Kai had already driven to the gate of his yard waiting for him. Liu Hao got on the car without saying a word and asked Xiao Kai how much it would cost for a date with Lian. Xiao Kai immediately stretched out 5 fingers, pointed at Liu Hao and said, $500. Hearing what Xiao Kai said, Liu Hao felt a little relieved, but thinking that $500 was more than 3,000 yuan, he still felt that it was too expensive. With a nervous mood, he followed Xiao Kai and finally drove to the massage parlor in the Chinese district. It seemed that Xiao Kai had been here several times before and was already familiar with the place. Lead by a black girl, they walked into the massage parlor. After entering, the massage parlor in front was not much different from ordinary massage parlors. But Xiao Kai told you how that the real happy place was in the house behind the massage parlor, which was a paradise for men's happiness. When Xiao Kai said this, a normal man would understand what this sentence meant. Xiao Kai had been here several times, so it seemed very natural. Liu Hao was in such a place for the first time and seemed extremely nervous. After that, Xiao Kai paid the money for Liu Hao, and then he was led by a black guy into a secret room inside and began to wait. Sure enough, after waiting for about a few minutes, Liu Hao saw Li Yan walk in. Although he hadn't seen her for a few years, she was still so beautiful, especially those beautiful eyes. He would never forget them after seeing them. However, Li Yan seemed to have not known Liu Hao for a long time or never remembered him. However, when Li Yan saw that he was a Yellowstone guy, she also smiled slightly, probably because she felt very kind. Li Yan, I am Liu Hao. Do you still remember me? When Liu Hao stared at Li Yan's eyes with red eyes and said this in Chinese, Li Yan was obviously stunned for a moment, then looked around and seemed extremely nervous and scared. Finally, he approached Liu Hao's arm and whispered to him that he was deceived to the United States. He now owed the loan company 300,000 US dollars in high-interest loans. If he couldn't make back so much money, he would have no way to leave here because these people would not let him leave. And now his passport has been taken away. It would be even more inconvenient for him to move. Hearing this, Liu Hao was already so angry that he vomited blood. What he didn't expect was that the person who deceived Li Yan to the United States was Xiao Kai's father, Xiao Chengqing. I have a classmate named Xiao Kai. He often comes here for massage. Does he know about this? After listening to Li Yan's narration, Liu Hao couldn't help asking Xiao Kai if he knew about this. He probably didn't know. I only met him twice, but never served him, and I didn't dare to say that I knew him, because I was worried that Zhao Kai's father Xiao Chengqing would sell me to northern Myanmar after knowing about it, and then I guess my life would be really ruined. At least I can survive here. Li Yan couldn't help but shed tears when she said this. But at this moment, people outside began to knock on the door, reminding them to speed up the service as there were only 10 minutes left. Li Yan, don't worry, I will definitely find a way to rescue you. After hearing about Li Yan's experience, although Liu Hao knew that 300,000 US dollars was too difficult for Liu Hao, he still wanted to rescue the goddess Li Yan and let him escape from the sea of suffering. When Liu Hao left, Li Yan told Liu Hao the ways. He said that there were only 2 ways to rescue him now. One was to really pay off the 300,000 US dollars he borrowed, and the other was to let Liu Hao help him steal his passport back. After coming out of the massage parlor, Xiao Kai asked him with a smile, "How is Liu Hao? Is she the goddess you once secretly loved?" Li Yan, didn't you try it yourself? You don't know that I dare not, because my dad said that I must not look for yellow-skied people when I go out to play. Otherwise, my dad will beat me to death. So I dare not. Listening to Xiao Kai's serious words, Liu Hao believed what he said, and more importantly, he believed what Li Yan said. After returning home, Liu Hao saw Li interacting with fans enthusiastically. After the live broadcast, Li smiled and asked him how he went out to play while drinking water. Seeing his ambiguous eyes, Liu Hao was embarrassed because he was really worried that Xiao Kai would tell Li Yi about it. When Liu Hao came out of the shower, Aunt Li told him that a fan wanted to meet him later and that fan had given him a lot of rockets today. There was no way, so Aunt Li had to agree to the person. Thinking that it was not safe for Li Wei to go out alone at night, he quietly called a taxi and followed him after he drove out. Unexpectedly, the person who asked Li Wei to meet was Xiao Kai's father, Xiao Chengqing. Although Liu Hao rarely went to Xiao Kai's house, he had met Xiao Kai's father several times and had seen their photos, but he didn't know Li Yi. When Liu Hao thought of his goddess Li Yi and being deceived by Xiao Chengqing to the United States and then owed usury and sold to a massage parlor, he became extremely worried at this moment, worried that the etiquette was also tricked by Xiao Chengqing. Sure enough, Liu Hao slipped next to them and heard their conversation. The general idea was that to bias his connections and company and make Li Wei an internet celebrity here, and the money earned by then would definitely be much more than in China. Li Wei was obviously very yearning to hear this. And at this moment, Xiao Chengqing also specially prepared a lot of information and contracts for Li Yi to see. But what he didn't know was that many of these materials were fake, because this process was what Li Yan told Liu Hao about this routine. Once Li Wei was signed, it would be really finished, which was equivalent to selling herself directly to that massage parlor. Therefore, when Li Wei was about to sign a contract with Xiao Chengqing, Liu Hao suddenly pretended to pass by with a cup of iced coffee and directly spilled it on their table, destroying the documents and contracts prepared by Xiao Chengqing on the spot. Sorry, Liu Hao pretended to be innocent and apologized to them quickly. But when Li Yi saw that it was Liu Hao, he was obviously stunned. Xiao Chengqing, who was standing next to him, saw that Liu Hao looked familiar. Before he could speak, Liu Hao immediately called him politely Uncle Xiao. Hello. I am Xiao Kai's classmate. I didn't expect to meet you here. After some polite words, Xiao Chengqing did not blame Liu Hao too much. Then Liu Hao suggested that they go to Xiao Kai's house tomorrow to sign the contract. Yes, Mr. Xiao, why don't we go to your house tomorrow night to sign the contract? The two children are classmates and can play together. Li Wei also smiled and suggested. Hearing what Li Wei said, although Xiao Chengqing wanted to blame Liu Hao at this moment, he could only give up when he thought that he could sign the contract directly tomorrow. After all, the information and contracts just now had been deliberately destroyed by him. Originally, Liu Hao thought that when he returned home and told Aunt about this matter, Li Yi would be very grateful to him. However, what Liu Hao did not expect was that Li Yi was very angry. It turned out that Li Yi had known about this matter for a long time, and what shocked him even more was that Li Yi, also known as Li Wei, was actually Li Yan's cousin. This time, his real purpose in coming to the United States was to rescue Li Yan. Today, Li Yi pretended to accept Xiao Chengqing's invitation, but it was all in Li Yi's plan. The purpose was to get evidence of Xiao Chengqing's crime. Liu Hao's unexpected appearance today ruined the plan of etiquette in finding evidence of Xiao Chengqing's crime. However, considering that Liu Hao was thinking about rescuing Li Yan's etiquette, he did not blame him too much, and even discussed the plan for tomorrow night with him. The next night, Liu Hao and Li Wei went to Xiao Kai's house together. Xiao Kai's father, Xiao Chengqing, specially made several authentic Chinese dishes and prepared a lot of barbecue skewers. Xiao Kai is now from a single-parent family. Xiao Kai's father, Xiao Chengqing, divorced his mother when he was very young. Xiao Kai has been following Xiao Chengqing for so many years. In fact, Xiao Kai has always wanted to follow his biological mother, but Xiao Qing did not allow him to do so. After all, the custody is in his hands. Because of this, after Xiao Kai's parents divorced, Xiao Kai's academic performance began to plummet. During dinner, Xiao Chengqing also specially prepared a lot of fine wine, and they each drank a glass. Afterwards, Xiao Chengqing mentioned the contract again, meaning that through his connections, Li Wei would become a local internet celebrity and earn more US dollars in the future. After listening to this, Li Wei picked up Xiao Chengqing's contract and pretended to read it carefully. Finally, under Xiao Chengqing's deception, Li Wei specially signed the contract. and gave Zhao Changqing her passport in accordance with the regulations, saying that it was for record. After that, Zhao Changqing secretly hid the passport in his safe and then walked out happily. Mr. Zhao, I'll toast you another glass, and then ask you to dance. After Zhao Changqing came out, Li Wei walked in front of Zhao Changqing with 2 glasses of red wine, smiling and charming, looking at Zhao Changqing with ambiguous eyes. When Zhao Changqing saw it, he immediately smiled, and then he drank red wine while pulling Yi Li, preparing to dance a social dance. But when Zhao Changqing slowly drank half a glass of red wine, he suddenly felt dizzy. Zhao Changqing had to sit on the sofa next to him and leaned on the sofa to sleep. Zhao Changqing, you are finished. Your life is finished. I must send you to prison with my own hands. You scum, you beast. At this time, Xiao Kai suddenly walked out of the room, holding a lot of loan contracts and various contracts in his hands, and the important thing is that the passport he secretly hid was also taken out by Xiao Kai. Just now, when Zhao Changqing secretly put Yu Li's passport into the safe, the password of the safe was secretly seen by Xiao Kai through the installed surveillance. Zhao Changqing was furious when he heard his son scolding him and taking out all his important documents and contracts. Zhao Changqing immediately picked up a fruit knife from the table and said angrily, "Okay, so you guys are trying to harm me and send me to the police station. No wonder you insisted on coming to our house to sign the contract last night. Go to hell." Seeing Zhao Changqing suddenly take out a fruit knife and point it at them, Liu Hao and Xiao Kai were obviously scared. But what shocked them was that the next second, Aunt Li suddenly knocked the knife in Zhao Changqing's hand to the ground and subdued him fiercely. Then Li Wei found a rope and tied Zhao Changqing up from head to toe. Then he sneered and said, "Don't think I'm just a fitness blogger. In fact, I reached the black belt in judo when I was a teenager, which is just enough for a scum like you." Why is Xiao Kai still standing there? Call the embassy quickly. Soon, Xiao Kai called the embassy and reported all the situations to the embassy staff. "Xiao Kai, you are a good son. You even calculated your father." After Zhao Changqing was tied up, he felt very upset. He didn't understand why his own son wanted to harm him and wanted to send him to the police station himself. "Are you my biological father? Have you considered my feelings? I want to live with my biological mother. Why don't you agree?" And the girl Zhang Xiao'er, you whom I liked in high school, was deceived by you to go to the United States. You forced her to sell herself, and she jumped off the building. You killed her. It was all you who killed her. I hate you. I will hate you all my life. Xiao Kai soon roared hysterically, and tears kept dripping down like a flood. Liu Hao didn't expect that Xiao Kai hated his father so much in his heart. The staff of the embassy brought the local American police to Zhao Changqing's home, and Xiao Kai personally handed the evidence to the police. Zhao Changqing was locked up that night, and the massage parlor in the Chinese district was closed that night. Among them, girls like Li Yan, who were studying in the United States, were rescued. In addition to rescuing Li Yan, several other girls were also rescued. They were all lured and deceived to the United States by Zhao Changqing through various means. Of course, Zhao Kai's friend Zhang Xiao'er was forced to death by them before. On the night when Li Yan was rescued, Li Yan and Li Yan hugged each other tightly, and the two had already cried into tears. Later, with the help of the embassy, Li Yan and several other rescued girls followed Li Yan finally boarded the plane back to China. On the day they flew to China, Liu Hao's mother's flight had just landed. Liu Hao went to see Li Wei and Li Yan off. While Li Yan was going to handle the formalities, Li Wei whispered to Liu Hao, "Xiao Hao, remember our previous secrets. Don't tell anyone, otherwise Aunt Li will hate you for the rest of your life." Li Wei's words immediately embarrassed Liu Hao. Liu Hao knew that because of his impulse they had that kind of thing which was hard to talk about. Liu Hao's got a see and told Liu Hao a secret before boarding the plane. He was just doing normal massage work in that massage parlor and did not engage in selling his body. Hearing this, Liu Hao was very happy. The goddess in his mind was still a goddess. Before boarding the plane, Li Yan suddenly asked Liu Hao shyly, "I like you." In the end, Liu Hao couldn't help but nodded and told Li Yan boldly, "I'll wait for you at home and wait for you to come back and marry me after you finish your studies. Are you willing?" Seeing Li Yan asked him sincerely, Liu Hao nodded excitedly. Later, Xiao Changqing was sentenced to several years by local laws, and Xiao Kai decided to return to China and his biological mother because of this incident. He felt that there was his home. He told Liu Hao that he hated Xiao Changqing, so he would not linger here. Liu Hao spent too much money and energy to study here, and he didn't want to let his parents down, so he put all his energy into studying and finally got into a university in California. He was still thinking about Li Yan. Wait for me to return to China and marry you.